If you're stagnating in your fitness journey, meaning that you've made lots of progress in the past, but now the results that you're getting are kind of just starting to dry out, you're just not making the same level of growth that you used to be making, chances are the root of the problem has to do with your comfort zone. Now, in case you don't know who I am, I'm Neal. I've made the transformation from being the really skinny, unfit guy to now having way more muscle, and make videos like this so I can help other guys to transform their physiques way faster than I was able to. Now, like I said earlier, if you're at a standstill right now, it just has to do with your level of comfort. So in the very beginning of my fitness journey, basically I just started out doing push-ups. I was a very skinny, unathletic guy. I just didn't do any exercise pretty much. So doing push-ups every day, it was uncomfortable for me. It was hard. But eventually, as I kept doing it, months went by and I started to notice some progress. I started to get a lot stronger. Muscles looked a little bit bigger. And I was happy with the level of progress I was making. But I kept doing this over time, but I noticed that the return that I was getting for the effort that I put in, even if I increased the amount of push-ups that I was doing, I just wasn't getting the same or making the same amount of progress that, I was used to. And it started to get frustrating because I wanted to keep growing and keep going really fast, but the results that I was getting was just slowing down. And it had to do with my comfort zone. So basically, the idea is that there's two bubbles. Your comfort zone, which is lays in the center, and then your uncomfort zone, which is the bubble outside of your comfort zone. Comfort zone, it just involves the things that you're familiar with. So the habits that you have, the friends that you have, level of status, your workout routine, the foods that you eat, all of those things that you are familiar with, that's in your comfort zone. Then there's your uncomfort zone, which is the bubble outside of your comfort zone. This is the thing that you're unfamiliar with. So trying out new habits, talking to new people, being in a different environment, all those things, that's going to be in your uncomfort zone because they're unfamiliar to you. And by being in this zone, you're going to start getting different results. But when you do this, or first off, the results that you get by being in your uncomfort zone, they're not always going to be good. But the thing is, you're always going to be able to learn from these experiences and become better as a result. So for me, starting out doing push-ups, it was unfamiliar territory for me. I wasn't even sure that I was actually going to be able to make progress because, I just didn't know. But I just tried it, started making the progress. But again, the returns that I got were just diminishing after a certain point. So in other words, it just got to the point that doing push-ups, I wasn't making enough progress for me, essentially. So if you want to grow as a person or just in your physique, you have to be in your uncomfort zone and stay there. When you're in your uncomfort zone, your comfort zone ends up expanding, so you can't stay in the same place forever. You have to keep growing and keep venturing out further and further if you want to keep making progress. So say you already mastered just doing push-ups like I did. If you're at that point, okay, now you have to start expanding and doing new things. What I had to do, I started having to learn new things about okay, how do you actually go about building muscle? What's the scientific process of how you actually go about building muscle? What are other things that I can do? What should my diet be? What actual muscle should I be working out? Started going to the gym and just doing all these things that were unfamiliar and uncomfortable for me. But as I started doing that, I started to level up in my physique a lot faster than I was when I just was sticking to that same thing of doing push-ups. And now I've got to the point where even doing those things, it's kind of in my comfort zone. So if I want to keep making progress and keep going further and further, I have to keep doing things that are unfamiliar with me or unfamiliar to me so I can keep growing and expanding. Essentially, that's the progress or the process that you have to go through. If you want to grow your physique or just in your fitness journey or in life in general, you always have to be in your level of uncomfort. Now, you don't necessarily have to or even want to go so far out that you're just scared and you essentially become paralyzed because it's too much for you. Just lean past the point that you already are. If right now you just don't work out at all and you basically do nothing, but you go from there to going on this crazy routine where you're doing a whole bunch of exercises, changing your diet completely and whatever, I don't think that's the best idea because it's just going to be a shock for a lot of people. I think what's way better, if you can, is just to progressively overload and just go past the point that you already are. Just be outside of your level of comfort, be in the uncomfortable zone. You're going to be able to grow a lot more. Now, I want you to be honest with yourself because you can lie to me, you can lie to other people, but don't lie to yourself. have you been stagnating? Have you not been making the progress that you want to be making because, you're just in your level of comfort? Because if that is the case, there's no reason to be shameful about that. If anything, I respect you more because you're able to admit that and not let your ego, protect you from, realizing the truth and actually, being able to grow from that. If you have been, in your comfort zone for too long, I challenge you, today, or just, make a plan to do it as soon as possible. Do something that's outside of your level of comfort. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't even have to be fitness related. Just do something that's uncomfortable for you, because you're going to grow that skill of being in the uncomfortable zone, and you're going to be able to grow as a person just from doing that. So yeah, just have that as a regular part of your routine, just or your daily life or whatever. Just be uncomfortable more than you are comfortable. You're going to soar past the people around you. I guarantee it. Yeah. Remember, if you want things to change for the better, it starts with you. Peace.